Heyo, this is Matt checking in for another toy photography tutorial. I've really enjoyed a lot of my recent setups and photos, and a big reason for that is how I've been shaping the light. Even the smallest light can be really powerful and shine everywhere. It gets everywhere. When you're setting up a scene and you're lighting and the light hits parts that you don't want it to hit, that's called light spill. If you don't know how to control that spill, then your photography journey will be pretty frustrating. So what are some ways that you can shape your lighting? The main ways that you can shape light or block light are gonna be some accessories that you can attach to your light or things to put in front of the light. Some lights might have these adapters called barn doors. The idea is pretty simple. If you don't want light shining this direction, boom, you block it so it's only going that way. You don't want it going up the top, boom, you put the barn door down. Maybe you just want it coming out of a little spot, boom, like close them all up. Barn doors. Another attachment that I've used before for my old Lume Cube light is called the Snoot. I had actually never heard of this before getting the Lume Cube, but it is a really cool tool to use for shaping your light. And so just like the barn door is kind of blocking how you want it, this is just going to be a better way of closing all that light off and really just focusing it, almost making it kind of like a spotlight and just directly at like a small area. I've seen some people make some DIY snoots out of like paper or poster board. You can pretty much do it just by anything that you can make a cone with. And we'll do one in a minute. Another thing that I've seen some people use is going to be this black foil. Depending on your light, I mean, even using like a paper towel roll could be kind of like a snoot too, right? Snoot. This black foil is referred to as CineFoil, and it pretty much feels just like foil, but it's black. It is kind of pricey, especially for foil, but it is an entire roll of it, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be more than you'll ever need, as long as you kind of take care of it. In the few months I've had it, I've used a few of these sheets for different lights. And I mean, I still have a lot left, and like you can reuse these because it's just like foil. Like, I mean, they might not look pretty, but who cares? You can see in these clips that I just have it folded over my lights, and then I position it where I want it. So just like the barn door, I'm blocking it from shining in this direction. I don't want this light spilling over onto the diode. I just want it focused on my subject. And even if there is some spill, because it's not like perfectly only on him, it's not as much. And here, I just wanted to focus this light on Maul. And for this other light here, I wanted it focused on Vader, and I didn't want it to hit Maul. So this just gives a better overall control of the light, rather than like one light lighting both of them or two lights lighting both of them. And in this picture, I used the CineFoil on my main light that I had shining on Vader. I really wanted this light focused on Vader's helmet, but I didn't want any of that light spilling onto the Rebel Trooper on the ground. You can see the difference it makes when I'm lowering it and raising it. I haven't used this in a photo yet, but you can also make a snoot with this. And so I have it where you can put the light right here, and I kind of folded it up, and boom, it's a snoot. And I know what you're thinking, is it magic paper? It's not. It's just a tool to make shaping your light easier. So could you use regular foil to do the same thing? In certain shots, maybe you can, but also it might reflect, because it's silver and shiny, it might reflect some light that you don't want. And because this is black and it has kind of a matte finish to it, it does a really good job of not really bouncing or reflecting any light. And the same thing with the poster board or paper, and kind of using it to make a DIY snoot, or like putting it over your light or kind of covering your light. Yes, that could work, but you know, you're gonna need some tape or some way to attach it to the light, whereas this kind of just folds over and you can reuse it. And like I said, it just makes it easier. I do have a link listed in the description below if you want to check this stuff out. And one last tool that I've seen in a lot of filmmaking tutorials and even behind the scenes for movies is a flag. Okay, this isn't a flag, and I don't mean like an actual literal flag, but it's just a tool that is used to block the light. Obviously, it's going to be in front of the light, and usually it's away from the light, and it's going to cause like a direct block of the light. So just like I don't want this camera to film this side over here, I'm blocking the camera view just like it would block the light from coming over here. I have used different things to block and be like a flag to get in front of the light so I don't hit certain parts of the scene. So experiment with different things that you can place in front of a light to block it from hitting certain sides or areas that you don't want lit up. This one can be harder to use depending on what kind of lights you have and where you're able to put the lights and position them. And then you have to be able to hold your flag or object up in front of the light somehow. So it could be kind of tricky. And one bonus way is even the position of the light, like whether it's from the top or from the side or from an angle, like that can be a way of shaping the light for it to not hit certain areas. There's plenty of ways to shape the light, and that's all part of the creative process. In the next few pics that you take, practice blocking and shaping your light, and overall being more intentional with your lighting. Create and inspire.